Welcome to the Hawley Baptist Church podcast, connecting you to a community in which everyone is welcome, lives are changing, and Jesus is King. Thanks for joining us today. You can subscribe to keep up to date with us. Did you know you can also join our service each Sunday via a live online meeting? Please get in touch to find out more about that. But for now, we pray you enjoy what God has in store for you in this episode and that it helps change your life for the better. In Jesus' name, welcome.
Good morning and welcome to Hawley Baptist Church online.
That's
a really great start. Well done, Neil. And my name is Neil.
And I'm Helen.
And we're your hosts for this morning, and it's great to have you with us today.
Yeah, so today we have got the fourth in our Small Wonder series, which has taken us through the Christmas story through the lens of Isaiah, which I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And today is called Wonderful to Meet You. Which I think is really nice.
Yeah, it's a series of four, and this is the fourth one.
Yeah.
So hope you've enjoyed them.
I've really enjoyed them. There's been so much sort of like that I hadn't thought about into which way to look at that. Like I think, I know the Christmas story, I know that, but actually looking at it through a different lens has been really interesting. What's been your favourite thing, or the thing that stood out, or a takeaway that you've got?
Well, I reckon if, because 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, things in your memory are not quite as perhaps good as they could be or should be. And I'd recommend, if you haven't seen the first three, best way is to go to YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you very much. I'm really on it today. Go and watch those because you'll get the whole thing. But for me, if you maybe one thing sticks in the mind from each talk, and maybe the one thing is God's got a plan for you wherever you are and however you're feeling, and this thing about don't put it off until you think I've got life sorted. When I've got more money, or when I'm older, or when I'm whatever.
When I'm better.
When I'm better, yeah. God, the Christmas story, tells us God uses people whenever they're ready, and not whenever they're ready. Now.
Yeah.
So
whenever God's ready.
Yeah. So that's my one takeaway. Yeah.
Fab.
Yeah.
And today we're looking at the passage in Isaiah that we're looking at this morning. It's taken from Isaiah and chapter 7, and the verses 6 to 10, which say, bear with me, again, the Lord spoke to Ahaz, ask the Lord your God for a sign, whether in the deepest depths or the highest heights. But Ahaz says, I will not ask, I will not put the Lord to the test. Then Isaiah said, hear now, you house of David. Is it not enough to try the patience of humans? Will you try the patience of my God also? Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. He will be eating curds and honey when he knows enough to reject the wrong and choose the right. For before the boy knows enough to reject the wrong and choose the right, the land of the two kings you dread will be laid waste.
Yeah, so, which was written 700 years, I think, before Christ was born. That always amazes me that that's written, and then 700 years later, the prophecy of Christmas comes true. Yeah,
indeed. So I look forward to hearing what we've got to hear this morning.
Yeah, let's roll that.
Lego. Have you ever stood on a Lego brick in bare feet? Yes? Not something you can miss. Such a tiny thing, but it makes you stop in your tracks. Ouch. On its own, it's hard to tell what it's meant for. It's just a small bit of moulded plastic. Unremarkable, easy to overlook. But when it's part of a bigger set, that tiny piece has a purpose. Unless you are someone who buys rogue individual blocks of Lego or mixed sets of second-hand pieces, that Lego has a purpose. It belongs to a bigger design, and without it the whole structure would be incomplete. If you've ever lost a piece of a set, you'll know how frustrating that situation is. That little piece that looks like nothing on its own clicks together to make something wonderful. In Isaiah 7, King Ahaz is looking for a brilliant solution to his political crisis. In this day and age, aren't we all? God sends Isaiah with a message: do not be afraid. In fact, he says more than that: be careful, keep calm, and don't be afraid. Do not lose heart. God promises him political stability, if only he will stand firm in his faith. God offers a sign as proof of his promise. He offers to show him something amazing. Don't forget, this is God who's shown his power in pillars of cloud and fire, in the parting of the seas, and in the defeat of a giant by a small boy with a slingshot. When Ahaz, perhaps with a bit of arrogance, perhaps mindful of Israel's history, says that he doesn't need a sign, God gives him one anyway. Not something written across the sky, although it will be, or hidden in the depths, although he will grow in the darkness of the womb, but something almost missable, the sign of a child. Born like other babies, to grow to adulthood like other babies, but not entirely like other babies. Born to a virgin, this baby will be God himself, the Lord of the deepest depths and the highest heights, land and animals, God with us, Emmanuel. Not heralded on the great stage in spectacle or born into wealth and power, but in proximity and vulnerability. Unremarkable to the eye, at least at first, easy to overlook. A tiny person with a huge purpose, a small wonder. God sent Isaiah to say to Ahaz, do not be afraid, echoed in the angel's words to Mary. When God does something extraordinary, it often leaves us fearful, feeling out of control, uncertain of the course of events which follow. The echo is striking when you see it. Where is the comfort? It's in the promise of God himself and in the encounter with Jesus that follows. The promise is amazing. It shows that God has seen his people, sees their needs, and intends to save them. How Mary must have wondered on what was happening. Luke 2:19 tells us that Mary pondered all these things in her heart. In the hours she would have spent holding, rocking, carrying, she may have wondered, who are you going to be? What can I see in the face of this little baby that I will later recognize as the first signs of something that defines who they have become? What is God doing here? Who are you really? Into her ordinary, unremarkable world bursts this little person, this child, who knows right and wrong without needing to be taught. The promised one, the promised wonder, arriving at the perfect moment to bring the whole plan together. Mary worshipped at the temple, but also at the cradle. And her obedience to God wasn't abstract, it was skin on skin, eye to eye, heart to heart. Cooking, cleaning, carrying, making new homes, all acts of worship. We too are invited to work out our worship as we get to know Jesus, to grow in our relationship with him, getting to know him better day by day.
Artist Nick Fiddian Green is known around the world for his immense and beautiful sculptures of horses' heads. But in his most recent exhibition here at the Sladmore Gallery, he turns his gaze to something far deeper, the face of Christ. For over 40 years, Nick has wrestled with clay, bronze, and faith, exploring in his sculptures themes of suffering, redemption, and divine acceptance. He says, "The face of Christ is an attempt for me to convey in my work, or that he conveys in my heart." We all send messages through our work, through the way we live, speak, create, serve. What does our daily work say about who we follow, who we worship, and what's in our hearts? Nick begins each piece with a bag of clay, a raw material. He then asks himself a raw question. What did Christ look like in that moment? In this instance, that moment on the cross. And then as he finishes a piece, he asks himself, so what am I going to do about it? That later question lingers. What does my work say about my heart? As I wash dishes, decorate the house, prepare for Christmas, what message am I sending to those who experience my efforts? Nick doesn't tell people what to see. He simply says, come and have a look at this. And they do. And many of those who have gazed upon the face of Christ in his work see the same thing, acceptance. That's what Nick saw himself as he sculpted the face of Christ in this piece. You're all accepted the way you are. And so he simply named this piece Acceptance. Any disciple who experiences such an encounter begins a lifelong journey of becoming more like the one who has so wonderfully accepted them. Nick's work is shaped not just by clay, but by a life marked by suffering. He's faced the challenges of both cancer and addiction. Our work is shaped and cultivated by who we are and the experiences we've been through. But God has a way of bringing wonder out of our wounds. When you look into the face of Christ, it makes you wonder, what did the first visitors to the manger see in the face of the baby Jesus? What did the woman at the well see? What did the woman caught in adultery see? What did Zacchaeus see when he sat across from Jesus as a guest in his home? What did Peter see after he denied knowing Jesus? Grace-filled eyes? And what did Mary, his mother, see as she nursed Jesus and watched him grow? Whatever she saw caused her to ponder the wonder in her heart. What do you see? This Advent, may our work, our words, our actions, our presence reflect the truth that we have discovered for ourselves, that it is wonderful to meet Jesus. May we all be sculptors of grace, shaping moments of love and welcome this Christmas. May we say with our lives, come and have a look at this.
To be a disciple of Jesus is to be a learner, one who learns to follow him in all we do. Mary learned to follow Jesus from cradle to cross and beyond. Living among his disciples after his resurrection, caring for and being cared for by John. See that in John chapter 19, verses 25 to 29. It's likely that the stories she told of these days have come to us particularly through the Gospel of John, her perspectives and ponderings influencing the style and the detail of his writing. This Advent, we can ponder on Jesus through the words of the Gospels, learning from Jesus, letting his voice shape our hearts, our thoughts and our actions, seeking to be like him, rejecting wrong and choosing right, choosing the way of Jesus, the way of wonder. In your workplace, your home, your street, your city, perhaps you feel like a small piece in a vast, complex structure. God has so carefully designed you and placed you right where you need to be. Maybe like Mary, you don't know what difference you can make in the world. But in God's hands, small things, everyday things, carry great significance. This Advent, don't overlook the small wonder. Keep focused on Jesus and let him shape all that you do.
Where might I be overlooking a small or ordinary way God is at work in my life right now? What does my everyday work or routine currently say about who I trust and worship? As I look at Jesus this Advent, what do I see? And how is that shaping the way I live?
Good. Well, hope you enjoyed that. Well, for us, it's today's the 28th of December. It's the last service of the year. We do appreciate you might be watching this in March or something, depending on
2028.
but yeah, it's a good time, and it doesn't matter, in all honesty, what time of the year it is.
Yeah.
But I guess at the end of the year, we do often sort of look back, look forward, and all that sort of stuff. And I guess from this series, I get the impression it's I quite like the Lego thing.
Yes.
About if you're a Jesus follower, you are a Lego piece. You may not know it, but you do fit in, and the idea of fitting into God's plan somewhere. And we do Lego.
There's a lot of Lego in our house currently.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Lego in our house, and I have a 5-year-old. Sometimes pieces go missing, and you can tell.
Yeah.
When that piece goes missing, and you can tell when you stand on it as well, like the lady was saying. You can tell when you stand on it, so that's how you find it. But how it all comes together and creates that bigger picture. And actually, I'm going to venture to say, even if you're not a Jesus follower, you're still a Lego piece.
Just haven't found your place yet.
You just haven't found your place yet. And as those questions that we just reflected on. And actually one's talking about where does my everyday work or routine currently say about who I trust and worship. I was like, or it probably tells me that I sometimes forget I'm a Lego piece. And actually I sometimes, my focus isn't where it should be, and that I forget that wonder, and I know it, but it's really easy as the year goes on, to sort of forget that wonder and forget that impact of the Christmas story. So in some ways I hope you're watching in March, and this is sort of, brings it all back. But I really liked, I think, as I say, for us on the 28th of December, but whenever you're listening to this, as we head into the new year, I really liked her sentence she said this Advent, we're going to go with this year. May our work, our words, our actions, our presence reflect the truth that we've discovered for ourselves, that it is wonderful to meet Jesus. Yeah. And if you're not a Jesus follower, actually, that our prayer is that you will discover that for yourselves, that it is wonderful to meet Jesus.
Yeah, and the reminder that might be doing the washing up, or something quite small. I think that the whole thing that's come out of this sermon series for me is it's called Small Wonder, and it's those small parts, those small things that we do to God's glory, and it's part of life, and God is part of that life. So I guess our message is where do you think you fit into God's plan? It's probably a good question to leave you with and ponder over on New Year's Eve, or when March the 15th, depending on whenever you're watching this. And we start next Sunday. It will be January, and we'll have a new series.
It will. And if you are watching this soon to when it goes out, and actually this series and Christmas as a whole can often get people really thinking. My Instagram is currently full of people who have gone to church for the first time this Christmas. And so if you're engaging with faith, with us, with whatever it may be for the first time, stick with us. We've also got an alpha course coming up that's happening over Zoom. Yeah. And so even if you're watching this in, I don't know, Scotland, you can join us. And so email us at alpha@hawleybaptist.org.uk for more information about that. If you're thinking, what is this Jesus thing? What is this faith thing?
Absolutely.
Get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. We wish you a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Take care.
That is it for today's episode. Well done for joining us and making it here to the end. Hopefully you feel slightly encouraged at least, or that you want to follow Jesus just that little bit more closely. You can join us in the room on a Sunday, but if that's too big of a next step for you, did you know you can also join us online through a video feed to one of our morning services? Do get in contact with us if you'd like to find out how you can do that. If you've got any questions about what you've heard today, or about anything that's to do with following Jesus and just church lives, things we might be able to help you with, we've got an email address just for you. It's gotquestions@hawleybaptist.org.uk. We'd love to hear from you there. Don't forget to share this. If you've enjoyed it, somebody else might do too. Share it with your friends. If you want to keep up to date with all that we do, hit that subscribe button to maintain that link with us and all that we produce. You can find it as well, links to these different things on hawleybaptist.org.uk/media as well. Thank you for joining us again. We pray God blesses you, and we will look forward to you joining us next time.